at that. We're back in my bedroom, back in the spot. It's a great place to prop my camera up. So thank you for clicking this video. My name is Challice. I am with Sodbuster Living. I have 5 children and I am an avid reader. And this video is with a group of phenomenal readers, and we are all going to be sharing 5 books that we think everybody should read this summer. The idea behind this is that if you're an avid reader as too, you know, sometimes suggestions, you're like, I've read that already. So the idea was to bring a bunch of ladies together that will give the 5 books that they recommend. There's going to be a huge variety here, some read aloud, some personal, some parenting, nonfiction, whatever. I really don't know. I haven't seen all the videos, but I hope that you find something that fits your niche within this collab. So if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for clicking this video. I hope you will come back for more. I love sharing about books and homeschooling and life and motherhood, and just love being a part of this YouTube community. All right, another thing I do is stumble over my words a lot. Okay, so this video, 5 books. Wow, it was really difficult to come up with this. I also did a couple of blog posts regarding videos. There's one I did on 10 Newbery winners that you need to read and 5 you need to stay away from. Not too long ago I did 5 books that you should read with your kids this summer, read alouds, and I'm going to leave those linked down below. Also linked down below is a playlist with everybody that is participating. I put the call out to invite several people, but I don't know who is all joining, so this is going to be a great surprise to me as well. Okay, so let's talk about these books. Usually with summer is kind of like a lighthearted time, or it's a time when we want to kind of prepare ourselves for another school year, or a homeschool year, you know, whatever situation in life you are in. Another thing that summer tends to be, especially in our family, is a little bit more of a relaxed day. Our routine isn't as deep. It's very hot out. I am in the Mojave Desert of California, where temperatures easily reach 110 and above, dry, no humidity. So being outside all day is a little difficult. So the movies and the computer and tablet time are a little bit more during the summer. I have to be very careful about that though. So one of the first books I'm going to recommend is Neil Postman, Amusing Ourselves to Death, Public Discourse in the Age of Show Business. This book is dated. I think it was published in the 70s or 80s, 1985, but its message still rings true today. Amusing ourselves to death. Basically what media, TV, all this kind of stuff, and this is before social media, so imagine what it is today. And he just kind of goes into a lot of details about things like that. Don't let the date fool you. This is a timely book today as well as then. I really recommend you reading this. Actually, it is on my summer reading list for this year, especially, as I said, those little handheld devices are out a little bit more right now, and we're watching a little bit more movies. So that is my first recommendation for you. Let's go into something a little bit lighter after that, right? Okay, so amusing ourselves to death. Let's bring in read alouds back, okay? There is a bunch of books right now out that says the books that you need to read for the summer. I actually have a I think it would be an indie author, a self-published author, for recommendation for you. This book is Love, Mary Elizabeth by Christy Martinson.
I'm still on my mom's phone, and I'm telling you guys about a book. She recommended this book and video, and I gotta tell you about it. This is good. So there's this girl named Mary Elizabeth, and her mom is very, very sick. So she goes to live with her aunt and her uncle and her cousin just for a little bit. And she learns how to live without her mom and her dad for a while. And she writes letters to her mom and her dad. Her mom is in the hospital because very ill. So, because it takes place in the summer and the fall and spring. That's why. It's good. You guys should read this.
This author is a she was a homeschool mom. Her kids are now grown and graduated. She ended up writing this story. It takes place around in the 1920s, and is told through a series of books about this little girl that goes to live on her uncle's farm, I think. Yes, in her uncle's farm. I was getting confused. And so she goes to live on her uncle's farm, and then she starts writing letters back home. My daughter read this past year, and she finished it in 2 to 3 days, and she kept coming back and saying, "Mom, it is so good." The daughter in here, her mother has contracted tuberculosis, so that's one reason why she is going to her uncle's farm, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful tale. Warning, there are some tears in here, so if you have maybe sensitive kids, maybe pre-read it, but it is such a beautiful story that I cannot recommend enough. Alright, well, let's pull up another self-examining book. Before we hit to all of the school years coming again, and I'm sorry, the summer is a lot more busy for me than during the school year. During the school year, I have my routines and things are going great. Outside of the school year, we're trying to catch up with all of our friends. We're trying to get all of these different activities in that maybe we didn't get going through the year, and summers can be a little crazy. So I recommend Kevin DeYoung's Crazy Busy. I also really like Brady Boyd's Addicted to Busy, but I only have that on audio, so I can't really hold it up. I did another video on this with books that just kind of worked along this theme, and I will leave that link down below for you. But Crazy Busy kind of talks about our crazy busy world and what that is doing to us, and how we can just start changing the pattern of behavior, because humans are not meant to be like this. We are not meant to be crazy busy. It's a short little book. It's really nice. It did win the 2014 Christian Book of the Year. So there is Christian content of this. Actually, I think all of these that I have has Christian content of it. It wasn't intentional. It was just 5 books to read this summer, right? Okay, so this one is a little easy one. Maybe you can just catch more pages than you think while you're waiting for your dear ones to finish up during camp or whatever activity it is they are doing. Highly recommend. I think this would be beneficial to anyone. Okay, well, let's get back into fun books to read. This series is actually written by someone I love very much. So I know it's reversed for you. I'm sorry. I'm going to leave it right here how it is spelled. And I'm actually going to tell you how it's pronounced. I happen to know I grew up with this wonderful woman. Her name is Shatona Havig, and this is my mom. So she wrote this series actually when we were all young and running around the house. I am the eldest of 9 children, and I just remember her telling me briefly that there was a day when, you know, things are crazy. She has all these kids running around. I think she was even pregnant with my baby sister at the time, and she was just thinking, you know, I get all these one at a time. What if somebody got all of them at once? And then, Ready or Not, and the series began. There's actually 4 books in this one. This book is a bestseller. It has made the top 1 of Amazon Kindle things. I don't know how that works, but everybody loves this book. The premise of this book is that this young lady, Agatha, inherits her sister's 8 children. When her sister dies in a car crash, well, her and her husband, obviously, Aggie needs to take care of all of the children. And it's all the antics of one young girl fresh out of college learning to raise 8 children. And it's hysterical. There are some things in here that, of course, we grew up doing. The whole first day opening scene of her trying to make a formula bottle, that actually is a very true story, and it happened with me. So I actually think in my case I did drink the bottle of coffee. So if that gave you a teaser, you need to pick up this book and read it. It is hysterical. It is it's not only funny, but there are just some gold nuggets within this book that I think every mom can grasp, hold, and take away from it. So I have Ready or Not by Shatona Havig on my recommendations for you. Beast is a new book. I am not finished with it, but definitely one to pick up this year. I did another video earlier this year, or even maybe last month, of a book that I read by this author called Discipline. Actually, it wasn't by this author, but by an author called Discipline by Elizabeth Elliot. And the book that I have to share with you is Devotedly, The Personal Letters and Love Story of Jim and Elizabeth Elliot. If you want something to just build your marriage on, oh my goodness, this is a phenomenal book and a phenomenal story. And just everything about it, just, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful love story. One of the other books that I really love is My Esposita, and it's the story of or the letters of Stonewall Jackson to his wife, and that one is a beautiful book. And just like that, this one is as wonderful, and it was written by the daughter of Jim Elliot. Well, Jim and Elizabeth Elliot, but it's Jim Elliot's daughter. So if you have the opportunity to pick this up, it's a new release. Devotedly, The Letters of Jim and Elizabeth Elliot. That is going to be my final book recommendation. I'm going to actually add one more as a bonus because I kept trying to figure out if I wanted to put this in or not. This is one that changed my life, and I'm actually going to be rereading it this summer because I finally got my hands on a copy. I read this one when I was in high school, and I've literally never felt so moved by a book as I did then. Obviously, I've grown up a little bit more and I've read more, but honestly, this book was so moving. If you love Kisses from Katie, if you love books like that, I think you need to get your hands on My Hands Came Away Red by Lisa McKay. I have not read anything else by this author, but this one is the story of what happens when the kids go on a mission trip, and it turned out to be something much more than they think. And it is not an easy read, I'm going to tell you right now. One of the back blurbs is, "For some reason I thought you'd know on the day you died." I just remember crying and actually being at a point where I had to set it down, go away for a few minutes, but I didn't want to leave it down for so long, so I'm going to be reading this again. You need something that just tugs at those heartstrings and makes you really think. I've noticed that a lot of my friends are going on mission trips, and so I'm saying my prayers for them as they go on these journeys. That book, wow. I have to read it again and see if it's as great as I remembered. So these are the books that I recommend you reading this summer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you did. We really like those thumbs up because then I can kind of gather up the kind of content that you look for, and I appreciate them. I know it doesn't take much time to do that, but if you have a few extra minutes, go ahead and leave me a comment in the section down below and tell me if you have read any of these books and if you like them, and what books you recommend that I read this summer, or anybody else that reads the comments. Thank you again for watching this video. Please do not forget to check out the playlist down below because there are some fabulous women joining in on this collab. Until next time, have another cup of coffee and read another chapter. Bye!